Chris Evans with the ball coach of Guthrie High School, Coach Rafe Watkins. Coach, it is serious time as we get set for the number 1 Booker T Washington Hornets and the number 3 Guthrie BlueJays.
Yeah, it's a tough week for us. We've had a good week of practice so far. Yesterday's full pad practice and today's full pad I thought went real well. We got still some things that I'm glad we got the extra day to work on. We're certainly not perfect by no means, but we were better today than we were yesterday, and it's a big challenge for us this week.
Look at it, Coach. Booker T, offense, defense, special. They're special skill kids. They got speed everywhere.
They do. That's just a typical Booker T team, They got a very good offensive and defensive line as well. They've got some big kids up front that move their feet very well. I personally feel like that. I don't think they're as talented as they were in 2002, but I think their lines are better. They're not, as talented, but I think they get more out of them than that team did in 2002 that they had with all the stars on it. But they're very good, very well coached. Coach Jimerson and his group do a very good job. And like I say, it's a big challenge for us, but it's certainly one that our kids are up to.
You look at their quarterback, Gary Bennett, they'll spread it out. They'll also go power eye. They'll try to get him any way they can.
Yeah, again, just looking at the difference between now and 2002. In 2002, they had about 3 formations. You knew what they were running before they did it. Now then they've got 30 different formations. Now, again, we look at a lot of the pairings as far as people they bring in, the package of people that they bring in and stuff you can get a little bit off of. But formation-wise, they do a lot of stuff. And, again, it all does start with their quarterback, Eric Bennett. Is that Eric Bennett?
Yeah.
And he's outstanding. And then they got the Michael Doctor at tailback, and when he gets his hands on the ball, he's very dangerous as well. They've got a very good tight end that they will split out. It's number 83. He's about 6'4", about 200 pounds, outstanding athlete. UCO coaches was here today, and they really like him. They talked well about him today. They're hoping that they've got a chance to get him. So those 3 are very good on offense, along again with their line. Defensively, they fly to the ball very well. Again, the Dr. Kid at linebacker is very good. They got a very good defensive backfield with number 5, number 8, number 1, number 12, 21. All those guys can play. I mean, again, it's like us. And then on special teams, you can, you kick it off to somebody, and they've got 4, 5, 6 kids that they can put back there that any of them can take it to the house at any time. And the 3 kids that they put back there on punts can take it at any time. So it's something that we're certainly aware of, but you can't avoid it. You've just got to do the best you can. We've got to have a sound kicking game, which, that's something that we always say in big games. We want to do sound game all the time, regardless of the game. But this week, even more so, we've got to cut down on our penalties. Last week we just had way too many silly penalties, and we cannot have that this week. If we have 6 or 7 penalties, that it's tough to overcome against these guys because we can't be in the 1st and 20 or 2nd and 15 type situations. We got to keep things close to the sleeve and be in those 3rd and short and 2nd and medium type downs, and we'll have a very good opportunity then.
Looking at the Bixby game, Coach, I mean, they had some big runs and credit to their skill kids, but I think tackling will be a big factor for Guthrie, especially in the open field, because once those kids get open, it's hard to tackle.
It is. Last week I thought we tackled extremely well on a Dilbeck kid and other running back. That's what we got to have this week. In the games where we've really played exceptionally well in all phases, like Shawnee and Deer Creek, guys, we were great tacklers on defense, and on offense we moved our feet and made good blocks and sustained blocks, and that's what we got to have this week. The Dr. Kid and the Bennett kid, they run extremely hard. Now, Bennett, he doesn't look real big. He's 5'10", about 175, but he runs extremely hard. But if we wrap up like we did on Dilbeck this last week, we couldn't play much better than what we did against him. And I think that's certainly how we've got to approach it this week. The thing is, Bennett throws it about 10 times better than Dilbeck does, and he has a lot more receivers. Last week we knew it was going to go to 85 if it was going to go to anybody passing. You shut him down, you shut their passing game down. This week they've got 4 or 5 kids that they can roll in there. They can hit their backs out. They've got an array of talent, and certainly defensively we'll have to have our best effort of the year.
Coach Jimerson talked about getting to Keaton Cowens, and it's going to be big duty for your offensive line this week.
It is, and it is every week. But knock on wood, we've been pretty solid all year long in the pass protection. Our run game's been miserable at times, but pass protection-wise, we've really done pretty good. But that's not to say that we know they're going to put pressure on us. They'll be stunting backers and ends, and they've got 2 outstanding ends that I left out, number 47 and number 90. Those guys are long, they're fast, they're excellent upfield pass rushers. Hopefully we can use a little bit of that against them, but we certainly know that we've got to do a great job up front on that, and we know that they're not going to give us a lot of of time. Their secondary, as good as it is, I don't think that man for man they're quite as good as what Carl Albert is, but they're outstanding still nonetheless. But when you get that pressure coming on you, I think their ends are a lot better than Carl Albert's ends, and they're certainly going to put more of a pass rush on us than what Carl Albert did.
64 Barnett's a good guy up the middle on both sides, center and at nose guard.
Two-way starter, and then they've also got another kid that's a sophomore, O'Connell, I believe is 77. His name. 77. When they bring him in, he's a starter on offense, and they bring him some in at nose guard on defense. And when they do, he's Bixby never did block him on defense. He does a great job when they bring him in. They only brought him in for about 15 or 20 plays, but in those 15 or 20 plays, he was just complete destruction in there. And so we certainly know about him. But again, the inside we worry about, but those ends and backers are really a big concern of ours.
Of course, it's been well noted the Blue Jays Hornets kickoff at 1:30. It was scheduled for 7, then moved to 1:30. Any difference playing in the afternoon, Coach?
Well, we haven't played in the afternoon. The only time since I've been here that we've even played is that 8-minute span we had to go back to Noble during the day and played like at 10:30 in the morning, and that was already out of hand, so it really didn't matter. We had a pass drop today out here at about 4:20 in our pass scale, and he said, I couldn't see for the sun. Well, I said, well, right now that's about 3 or 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter up there Saturday, and that truly is. We'd be looking back. It's a north-south field, and so it'd be looking back in the same spot as it is. So you're going to have to fight through it, and certainly your punt returners and stuff. There's a sun factor that's going to be involved, but it's for both teams. So certainly that's not just per se a disadvantage. If it's a disadvantage maybe to both sets of receivers and DBs, anybody can lose the ball in it, and that's certainly going to probably hold some factors involved in the game as who can control with that, because it's something that neither team is used to doing. I know they haven't had any day games this year, especially. I don't know what they had in the years past, but this group has not had a day game, so it is something for you to think about, different than what you normally have at night. But I'd a lot rather have us having this day game and doing that as to play on a field where if you had poor lighting at night, kind of like Noble, it was hard to pick up the ball down there in the dark because their lights were so short that you had a harder time picking up the ball. So I don't think it'll be a big difference, but it is something that we certainly are concerned with.
Of course, games played on artificial turf, that would be nice too. And Coach, here in Guthrie, we get used to big games, but the entire state of Oklahoma is definitely looking at this one this week.
Well, I think they are. I can't imagine not. It's got everything. It's got star power. It's got two tradition-rich teams, and last year with us beating them in basketball, and then 0-2 beating them in championships, there's a little revenge factor, I'm sure, with some of their kids in there, and so it's going to be a great atmosphere. I was asked earlier in the week by the sports animal about what it's this pageantry that's going to be over. I have never played at Booker T. I don't know, but like I told them, I said, we play in big atmospheres at Carl Albert and at Shawnee traditionally every year, and then the last 3 years we played over at Bixby, and I can't imagine a rowdier place than what Bixby is when you're coming out of that tunnel through their student section. So I maybe have my eyes opened up to it over there, but we have been, when it comes down to it after the game's kicked off, it's our 11 going against their 11, and that's what they'll worry about.
Coach, best of luck Saturday.
All right, thank you.
For head coach Rafe Watkins, I'm Chris Evans. Thank you for watching Guthrie Sports Page Television.